Centennial High School, late October, 11 days from Halloween, and that means we close down another high school football season here on North Metro TV. Final weekend of action right in the middle of the week, of course, with MEA. Woodbury Royals visiting the Centennial Cougars in a top 10 Metro matchup. J.W. Cox alongside Bill Hupp. And Bill, this is a great matchup here just because of what these teams have done to this point in the season. The Cougars, though, impressive with the schedule that they've gone through. They've been battle-tested. Now a chance to get one more regular season victory under their belts before come what may in the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely, JW. And there's a reason they're 4-3 and still ranked 5th in Class 6A, because they've played such a tough schedule and they've gotten some huge wins, including over the likes of Maple Grove and Wayzata. They get another test tonight in the form of Woodbury visiting with their high-powered offense through the air. So it'll certainly be a test for Centennial to defend against the pass and the high-flying aerial attack of this Woodbury Royals offense.
That defense has been very good. They've allowed more than one touchdown in just 3 of their 7 games so far this season, and only 2 of those games have they allowed allowed more than 2 touchdowns. That did include last week, another one of those tough opponents in Minnetonka, and it was Centennial on the wrong end of that. Last week, Woodbury went to 6-1. Their section, their conference, the Maroon South, a little bit different, and they'll get the step up in competition certainly today. The kick return will be a good one out to the right side, and Quentin Cobb Butler, one of their talented sophomores, a defensive back, rolls it out close to the 30-yard line. And that is where the offense for the Woodbury Royals will start. 6-1, as mentioned, 34 points a game, Bill, close to 400 yards of total offense, and as you said, a lot of it through the air. Their sophomore quarterback, George Bajelos. They will start at their own 28-yard line. Bajelos, that pistol look with the tailback off to his right, and they'll start with the run. Long give in the belly there to R.J. Altman, and he gets to that outside edge, dragged down as he crosses the 40 and has a first down pickup. So they can get you to R.J. Altman. He's a talented tailback. Number 27 out there, 101 carries for over 530, and he scored 7 touchdowns. It can have some balance to it for this Woodbury offense.
Impressive run of 14 yards. Altman, a pretty stout senior tailback at 5'11", 195 pounds. And you talked about Bajelos. Most impressive numbers to me, 19 touchdowns, just a single interception. So this is a quarterback who plays with a maturity for a sophomore.
Chilly, damp night. We could have some fresh rain that comes throughout this, and we'll see what that does to this offense as Altman takes it again, this time in the middle. He's got a good push as he dragged Evan Lechner, the outside linebacker, through the hole with him after first contact, out to the 47-yard line. Another pickup of 5 yards. It's second down coming up for the Royals.
What was so impressive about that particular run is that he jump cut at the start of it, so he kind of patiently hesitated, chopped the feet, and then hit the hole and managed to pick up 5. Pretty effortlessly.
Only loss on the season to their crosstown rivals. Eastridge got them 15-14 2-3 weeks ago. Bajelos to throw for the first time. Has to scramble out of the pocket. Hit as he dumps it down, and a good pressure provided there by the Centennial Cougars, and it was the man up the middle, Chase Granzo, on the pressure.
Granzo caught a 65-yard touchdown pass last week against Minnetonka, showing you his defensive prowess. Certainly defender is what he's more known for, but good pressure. They're going to have to get pressure on Bajelos in order to make his life uncomfortable.
So it brings up a third down, also a spot they want to be. It's third down and manageable at 3rd down and 5. Just right at midfield. First chance for this big Centennial defense, who's been holding teams to 12 points a game, to get a stop. Altman changes direction in the backfield, and he crosses the 50. He's short of first down yardage. He was ridden down by big Isaiah Ward, the senior defensive tackle at 6'3", 280 pounds. He crossed midfield to the 49, but he is 1 yard short.
Good position for Woodbury to go for it here. They're just across midfield, as you said, and obviously outside of field goal range. They could play field position and punt him deep, but with just a yard to go, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it here.
Long yard. They've got to get inside the 48-yard line. They'll go 2 wide receivers in an I formation. Altman's the tailback dotting that I. Man going in motion is Blake Rohr. He'll set up in the slot left, which empties the right side. It will give to Altman. He wants the 1. He stopped at the line. Forward progress would have to be the case, and I don't think he got it. The Cougars strike the first big blow of this top 10 matchup and stop the Royals on 4th down at midfield.
Well, with the I formation that was lined up behind Bagellos, it was pretty obvious what they were going to do, and Altman just could not get the hard yard that he needed. Credit to the big defensive line of Centennial for getting that push and disrupting that play. Ball turns over to this high-powered rushing attack. Two very contrasting styles of offense tonight, JW.
You take a look, the good push up front. It's a great defensive line. The linebackers coming up to provide that support too, Bill. And that is a textbook defense against a push up the middle to try and pick up that run. Here is this offense, and it'll start with Daniel O'Neill, who sprints his way to the left side. Did that ball come out? Woodbury thinks it did. O'Neill, they're going to mark him down at the 47-yard line, and it's second down, so came out late, ended up in the hands of Joey Gerlach, but down before the ball came out, so a good gain on first down for O'Neill.
Gerlach's a name we're probably going to call a lot tonight, going to South Dakota State next year. Also an impact player on offense, but he's known for his defensive prowess. Coming in, the senior, 6'3", 202 pounds, which is pretty big for a defensive back at the high school level.
Quarterback on the other side for the Cougars, also a sophomore, Dalen Cummings, has rushed for over 280 yards this season. He will keep it this time, peeling off the left, past the 45, noses towards the 40. He stopped at the 42-yard line and pushed back. Never pushed down, though, for this sophomore. He runs big, Bill, 6'1", 180, but runs bigger than that, and he's proven harder to take down than that size might say. It'll be a third down coming up.
Yeah, it's very impressive. And it's this decision-making for just being a sophomore. He knows when to give it to Lance Liu and company, and he knows when to keep it himself. Sets up a manageable 3rd and 1 from the 42.
Third down and 1. Lance Liu is that big bell cow back at the back end of this Cougar rushing attack. He will fake to him. Keeper for Cummings, space for Cummings. Right side with the first down and more. Cuts back in. The last man that could get him did. It was Cobb Butler who brings him down, but a big first strike for Dalen Cummings in this offense of the Cougars to the 20-yard line.
Big gain of 25 yards down to the 17, so nice run there. And again, good decision-making by Cummings to pull it out and decide and keep it himself.
The last two have been keepers for Cummings. A couple of weeks ago, he ran for 100 yards against the rival Blaine Bengals. Trying to set up with that here today. First carry for Lance Liu, and he tumbles down to the 15-yard line. So he picks up 2 hard yards. Lance Liu, 126 for 606 for the senior tailback at 5'11", 200 pounds. 3 touchdowns. And his yards per carry, we've joked about it before. You give it to him a lot, eventually he winds his way in the good games for the Cougar offense around 5 yards per carry.
And the thing is, if you're Cummings, you know that the defense is generally gonna key on Liu, so that allows Cummings to sneak around the end and get big gains.
Woodbury holding teams down as well, 12 points per contest as Liu pushes his way straight through the middle. He's brought down by Gerlach and one of the team's top tacklers from the linebacking spot, Ahmed Abdullah, excuse me.
And again, this is what Centennial does, though. Sets up a very manageable 3rd and 3. And obviously they can get another first down without scoring. They've gotten it deep within field goal range, certainly, but they're thinking touchdown, having forced that turnover on downs at midfield.
The wings are O'Neill and then Lance Nielsen Jr., number 5 on the right. Luke Clark, the single wideout, split wide to the right side. Tight end Jansa on the line. Motion man is Nielsen Jr. Give up the middle for Liu, and he's tumbling ahead. He's going to be close to that first down yardage, and he did get it. They will move the chains. Lance Liu sets up goal to go with just around 7 minutes to go in this first quarter. Mark him at the 7-yard line.
And this is what they want to do. So just pick up, first downs, methodically move those chains. This is already the 4th first down of the drive. Sets them up in good field position.
6th game this season for the Cougars out of 8 on the schedule against a top 10 team as Lance Liu tumbles inside the 5, down close to the 2. Picks up another 5 yards there. 2nd and goal to go from inside the 2-yard line.
Liu 4 carries, 15 yards. So after Cummings ran it a couple times, 2 for 30. Now Liu is 4 for 15, and they are on the doorstep right now.
Logan Palmstein, the center, goes over the football here with this offense moving taking it after the stop at midfield, down the field to the goal line, and Lou pushes his way to the goal line and in. Touchdown, Cougars on the board first after a big defensive stop. They move down the field in 8 plays to go 53 and score it, courtesy of the 4th touchdown of the year on the ground for Lance Lou.
Nothing fancy really about any of the last 5 plays. Once they got in the red zone, it was all Lance Lou, and they just gave it to him right up the gut, and he made, Woodbury didn't get gashed, but he just did what he does, got yards methodically, and pounded it across from 2 yards in.
3 minutes and 48 seconds on the touchdown drive, the 8 plays, 53. Extra point, Eli Nowanski. I was talking about Isaac before the game, his older brother. Eli Nowanski bangs it through. He's been good on the PATs this season, now 13 of 14. And it's 7-0 Cougars in this big matchup of Metro Gold North versus Metro Maroon South. Nothing too fancy about it, Bill, as you said, but just big power game as he tucked in behind Marco Villa, the senior offensive lineman.
And we didn't get a chance to talk about it much before the game, but a lot is at stake here. Stillwater is going and playing Eden Prairie tonight on the road, a very tough game that many think they're going to lose. And if they do and Woodbury wins here, then Woodbury's making its case for a top section, the top seed in the section. So, and obviously Centennial wants to position themselves well. They don't want to finish at 500. They want to have a bunch of ranked wins under their belt, and so a lot is at stake in this game for both teams.
Cougars opened up with 2 games against top 10 opponents. Lost 7-0 to that Stillwater team, lost 19-16 after leading 16-0 to St. Michael Albertville as it's taken by Cobb Butler to the right side again. He found some space going laterally, and then he went up the field and ran into the arms of Jaden Lutz, the junior linebacker who makes the tackle on special teams.
I mean, it feels like they're playing a ranked team every single week.
Almost.
And if you look at who they've played, the only teams really that they have played that haven't been ranked at this point in the season, Totino, Grace, and Blaine. So really 5 of their 7 opponents this year have been ranked, and highly ranked at some point in the season. St.
Michael Albertville just fell out of the rankings, did receive votes in the poll that came out today that put the Cougars at 10 and the Royals at 7. Keeping this a top 10 matchup. Bajellos to throw for just the 2nd time, and he has a man over the middle and a great tumbling catch made by Garrett Smith. Excuse me, that wasn't Smith, that was Blake Rohr, one of his top targets, 439 through the air for Rohr, and so he goes to him for his first completion to the 45.
Little pitch and catch of 19 yards on first down, and what was really nice about that is Bajellos looked away, and he held his eyes on the other receiver before finally turning and hitting Rohr over the middle.
He's got a quartet of 4 receivers who have accounted for 15 of the 19 touchdown passes that Bajellos has thrown as he gives it back on the ground, looking for Altman to get going. The 6-foot, 184-pound senior running back tumbles up the middle, close to the 50. They'll spot him at the 48 for a gain of 3, and it's 2nd and 7.
I mean, Woodbury's going to be able to move the football, you would think. Centennial just has to, it's okay if their defense bends but doesn't break. They just have to limit the damage when it comes to touchdown. You don't want to get in a touchdown battle with this team.
Similar situation, gave up a first down, stiffened up near midfield. They will fake it to Altman, kept by Bajellos and ripped down to the deck by Cole Eriksrud. Right there in the middle, unfazed by the jet sweep, and Eriksrud, a strong tackle to bring up 3rd and 7.
Yeah, great job by Eriksrud. Lechner in there as well. And really, that was just kind of blown up from the start. And maybe just a bit of a miscommunication. Altman certainly thought he was going to get it, I think, but sets up a 3rd and 7, but that's nothing daunting for this offense.
He actually lost a yard to the 47, so it's 3rd and 8. They got to a 4th and 1 off a 3rd and 5 on their first drive of the game. As Bajellos wants to throw, has time to throw over the middle. It's tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Mason Mix and tries to wind his way to the right. Can't get very far before he's dragged down by Rohr. But Mason Mix, the takeaway for the Cougars, their 5th interception as a team this season. And they've got another possession up a score.
It was off the hands of Joe Mahoney. He's looking for him on the slant. He gets hit it deflected anyway, and Mason Mix made the interception. Mahoney got absolutely crushed, but after it had hit off Mahoney's hands, just too much heat on a cold night. And luckily for Centennial, Mix was there to make the play.
Credit where credit is due. Timmy Ball laying that hit over the middle to give his fellow linebacker a chance at that tip ball. At their own 46-yard line, Cougars take over. They'll run it with Lance Nielsen Jr. Sparkling red shoes near the heels, flying his way down to the 50-yard line. As he'll pick up 4. Bring up a 2nd and 6. Nielsen Jr., he's been the scoring threat this season. 5 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air, and 1 that he has thrown himself. Luke Clark's lone receiving touchdown came out of the hand of Lance Nielsen Jr. From the 50 with a 2nd down. Cougars up a touchdown. They scored on their first drive, which started just their side of midfield. Cummings to throw, going deep. Nielsen Jr. battles with the defender and takes it away inside the 20. Big strike play. Cummings to Nielsen Jr. And it's 1st and 10 in the red zone at the 18.
Beautiful play here, 32-yard gain. A little as Nielsen goes on the ground, and then they go over the top. Great defense by Joey Gerlach, who was step for step with him, but Nielsen just went up and made the play. Terrific hands, mark it at the 18. Centennial rolling early on here.
4 catches now for 103 on the season for Lance Nielsen Jr. When he gets it, they're big time. Back to that wing formation as he goes in motion. They'll pitch it to Nielsen Jr., trying to step inside of Gerlach, who he beat on that last play. Inside the 15, they'll mark him down at the 12. Good foot in the ground plant to get upfield for Nielsen Jr., and he picks up 6.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is the pass really usually comes out of nowhere because they have to respect the rushing of Centennial, because they're going to do that 9 times out of 10. So when they can hit you on the play action pass, it's really tough.
12th year head coach Mike Diggins had a big high five for Nielsen Jr. as he came on for this play. Coach Diggins, longtime assistant, a grad of Centennial as well. Watches Lance Lou burst through the middle, and he tumbles down inside the 5. Mark him at the 4. 1st down and goal, Cougars from inside the 5. 2nd consecutive drive where they've had that luxury.
Lance Lou up to 7 carries, 24 yards, and a touchdown. And again, another 1st and goal, this time from inside the 5 for the Cougars.
2 drives that have stalled out for Woodbury near midfield. One stopped on 4th down, once the interception. Cougars took the first, marched it to the house, and took a 7-0 lead. Now they're 4 yards away from taking a 2-touchdown lead. Deep back is O'Neal. Keeper Cummings into the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars. They're up 13-0 in the first.
We talked about the good decision-making of Dalen Cummings, and a perfect example right there. Everybody's keyed in on Lance Lou, and you saw Woodbury's defense collapse on him, and it allowed Cummings to just sneak around that left edge, and he went in untouched from 4 yards out. Beautiful execution so far for Centennial's offense.
3rd touchdown on the ground this season for Dalen Cummings, as he caps off a 5-play, 54-yard drive that took 2:23 off the clock, keyed by the big 32-yard pass from Cummings to Nielsen Jr., capped by Nowoski, knocking in his 2nd PAT, and it is 14-0. See it again, the decision-making of the sophomore.
And you see it right there, Woodbury and their defender Garrett Smith diving in, and he bit on the play fake, and Cummings just pulled it out of Lou's stomach and kept it himself. Once he sees Smith crash down from that defensive end position, he's just going to walk around the end because he knows he's got pay dirt.
6 teams of the 8 on the schedule for the Cougars, that includes tonight and Woodbury. 6 of the 8 have a winning record at the moment. Those 6 are a combined 34-8. This battle-tested team, you use battle-tested a lot throughout a season, Bill, but you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody else besides the Cougars that's had this type of schedule, even within the Metro Gold North. Blaine hasn't played this tough of a schedule. Teams inside that division, this is a team that is peaking right now because of what they've been through over the last 2 months.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you'd have to look at teams like Lakeville North, who play the likes of Prior Lake, Shakopee, Lakeville South, Farmington, etc., to find a team that has been as battle-tested, as you just said, as Centennial has. And they've surprised some people this year, and I think that, you know, that's showing in this game.
Garrett Smith on the bouncing ball return will take it out to the 34-yard line. This will be the best starting field position for this Woodbury offense with 1:55 to go. They've got to get going earlier in some of these drives, you would think, Bill, and find that passing game we were expecting to see. They've gone run first, and then a couple of things on second and third down have put them down in distance against the sticks. They will pitch it or snap it right to Altman. He's trying to get to the edge on the right side. Can't do it. Cougars track him down. Good pursuit off that left side by Will Quick.
A little bit of a different look for Woodbury there, the Wildcat look with the direct snap to Altman. Cougars defense equal to it, no gain on the play. And so far, 2 drives for the Royals, JW, and both times Centennial has turned them away right around midfield. First a turnover on downs, and then obviously the interception last drive. But this first quarter has been, I don't think Coach Mike Diggins could have scripted it much better.
Both times Woodbury has picked up a first down on those drives, but that second first down to keep the drive alive has proved elusive. Altman starts to the right, tries to put his head down and go up the middle, and you're running into a lot of big beef there in the middle for this Cougar defense, and that time, again, it was Mason Mix who had the interception. He and his linebacking buddies, they're going to come up and make some plays on this front for the Cougars.
So Altman, first 2 carries, 2 for 19. His last 4 carries, 6 yards. So Centennial's defense has seen it and they've adjusted to him. And it's been much more of a ground game than maybe you may have expected, but this passing attack can certainly get going at any time.
Extra defensive backs all over the place for the Cougars on this 3rd down and 7 against this pass-happy offense. So that leaves just Ball and Mix as the lone true linebackers out there. Now a whistle and a timeout's going to be taken.
It's the music. The music is an issue. So there's
28 seconds to go.
There's all kinds of confusion. And
so now a 3rd down. Bajelos going deep, has a man open over the middle, and he overthrew the fingertips of Blake Rohr.
If he leads him, it's a touchdown. He had him wide open down the seam, and he just threw it behind him. Rohr, with nobody around him, just could not adjust. As you see it here, Rohr's going in motion, and he takes off down the seam, and Bajelos exhibits a strong arm, but he just throws it slightly behind Rohr, and he can't make the play. Big 3 and out for Centennial's defense.
Punt formation. Out for the Royals. Cobb Butler will do that. Fair catch called for by Quick. He takes it at the 30-yard line. And that's where the Cougars will start. 3 for 3, Bill, stopping this high-powered offense. And again, that is what has powered Woodbury all throughout the season. Put up 40 points twice, 55 points 2 weeks ago, 38 against Hopkins. But again, this is a different animal they're dealing with here, and the Cougar defense has stepped up.
Averaging 34 points a game coming in, but Centennial, what have we talked about them being good at? Defense and running, and that carries you really far in come playoff time, and they're certainly showing both assets of their game here tonight.
Out comes Cummings. Worst starting field position, but they're still at the 30 as he'll give to Lou, trying to bounce off a tackler. Sometimes you'll take that with Lance Lou as well, just the 1-yard gain, as that will take us to the quarter break. Cougars will have it 2nd down and 9 with a 14-0 lead here on their own turf in the final week of the regular year. Back with quarter number 2 after this on North Metro TV. Cougars, everything as possible that could have gone right did in the first quarter. 2 big stops, including a turnover. They scored 2 touchdowns, got a 3rd stop, take the football over here to start the second. J.W. Cox alongside Bill Hupp, our entire North Metro TV crew. Back-to-back nights here at Cougar Stadium. Yesterday, saw the Cougar girls soccer team punch their ticket to the state tournament. Yet another section championship. Yet another late give for Dalen Cummings as he'll pitch it off to O'Neal on the left side, and he'll push his way to the 34-yard line to pick up 3. Brings up a 3rd down and 6.
A little bit different look, this time going with the option play, and again Cummings staring that down that defensive end. He sees Smith stay with him, so he gives it outside to O'Neal. So many weapons on the Centennial rushing attack.
3rd down and 6. Offense like this, you can put that in the 3rd down and long category. They'd like their 3rd downs to be much shorter than this, but they can still get it done. They'll fake it, roll out Cummings to throw. Looking to go deep, dumps it over the middle and too high. He was trying to find Riley Doherty crossing around at the 50-yard line. He also had his #1 target, Luke Clark, out there, but it's incomplete in the 4th down.
Yeah, an offense like this wants to throw when they want to, not when they're forced to. And obviously in this instance, they felt like they had to because it was 6, because it was 3rd and longer. So a big stop for the Royals defense after giving up 2 straight touchdown drives on short field positions to get a 3 and out and get the ball back to that offense.
Run stuffer up front. Chase Granzo also does the punting. Puts his foot into it at his own 25, and it will bounce and take a Cougar bounce behind the return man. Gerlach picks it up on the run over his shoulder, and he is knocked hard out of bounds by the Cougars.
I like the way he just got up and bounced right out, tossed the ball to the referee, ran across. I'm not sure why he didn't just catch it on the fly in the first place, but why he chose to let it bounce and then grab it. But be that as it may, he sets up his team with pretty decent field position at their own 38-yard line, and we'll see if they can get going. Right now, Bagelos, after 1 quarter of play, 1 of 4 for 19 yards.
11 minutes to go here early in the 2nd quarter as they take over at their own 37-yard line. Starting field position has not been a problem for the Royals. Completing passes has been the problem for the Royals, and that one tipped and incomplete.
Tremendous job by Isaiah Ward. I wouldn't even say tipped. He straight blocked that. Isaiah Ward getting in there. He's a big boy at 6'3", 280, and he just got his big paw up there, and you know they were working on that in practice this week.
You're right. That hit halfway up his arm. He elbowed that one down to the deck. Stops the clock. 2nd down and 10. Cougars up by 2 touchdowns that they scored in the first half. They still have only given up 1 touchdown in the first quarter all year long. They gave up a field goal last week, 10 total points in the first. Jet sweep, Granzo, nowhere to go, and Granzo brings him down on the left side.
Scott Hampson absolutely tracked down by Granzo, who is doing it all tonight. As you said, the jet sweep, Granzo just read it, shed his block, and made the play. A loss of a couple on the play.
Mark it back at the 37. So they say no gain, no loss. Well, it's behind the stick, though. It still says 3rd and 10. So we'll go 3rd and 11 in Bill's eyes. We will trust all of that. And it's a 3rd down and 11 after the loss. 4 wide receivers rolling out. Bagelos chased by Granzo, still chased to the sideline, and he's forced to step out of bounds, and the Cougars got him late.
Come on.
They definitely did, I feel like, as he was giving himself up and then took a little bump, and that is going to breathe new life into this Woodbury offense.
Just such a needless penalty. You're going to get off the field. It's 3rd and 11, and you just extend the drive. You have to control that aggression in big moments, especially when they're looking to call that and trying to protect the quarterbacks as they are.
You'll see it here. Granzo just could not get to him enough to force him out before the 40. And yeah, not ill intent, but that's more of a know where you are on the field, right? And you don't have to have that extra shove. It was Lance Nielsen Jr. who came over there and got the penalty.
And I actually think he pulled up. I think it was kind of harsh, but he definitely didn't need to because he had angled him out of bounds.
It will delay, the long delay for the give. Secondary tailback Kip Copeland, who had a big weekend last weekend. 62 yards on the ground for Copeland. The reserve tailback was the leading rusher. This time, though, just picks up a yard to the 41. Big day already. The interception for Mason Mix. He's leading that defensive front. Again, they've had the extra defensive back in for most of this game. They do bring a 3rd linebacker back out there, Brady Ivory. Kind of floats between defensive end and linebacker. Playing with 3 down linemen right now. 2nd down and 8 with 9.5 minutes to go in the half. Bajello's play fake, wants to throw, looking to go deep, angles it right side, and it is complete. What a catch through the traffic made by Charlie Jacobson down near the 18, forward progress to the 15.
Just Jacobson's 7th reception of the season, but it was a big one as it picks up 25 yards down to the 15 and a contested catch. Great coverage down there by Dan O'Neill, nearly knocked it away, but Jacobson able to make the catch and move the chains.
This is Woodbury's first drive of substance here as they've gotten down inside the red zone to the 15-yard line. As Bajellos wants to throw quickly out to the left. He's got his man and a missed tackle near the 15, still on his feet, and Hansen trying to make his way inside the 5 and does down to the 2, dragging tacklers. A lot of yards after the catch.
Yeah, just a simple little swing pass as Hansen gets it. You've seen Hansen run the ball. He catches it this time. Missed tackles and tackling in the open field are going to be critical. Sets him up first and goal from the 3.
Bajello single tailback Altman off to his left. Trying to get back within a touchdown here. High-powered offense off to a slow start. Altman, though, through the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown for Woodbury. And R.J. Altman scores for the 8th time this season on the ground.
Well, you got a demonstration right there of just how high-powered and explosive this Woodbury offense can be. And so Centennial may have felt good with a 2-touchdown lead, but this game is obviously far from over with the big play aerial ability of this Royals attack.
8 plays, 63 yards, 2 minutes and 55 off the clock, and the extra point is up, and the extra point is good off the right foot of Xander Anderson, the junior place kicker.
Simple, Altman, not much resistance there, just straight up the gut after they had gotten down there via the pass. And JW, I don't think this is going to be the last touchdown we see of the night. These offenses are moving it pretty effectively tonight.
Head coach Andy Hill on the other side for Woodbury, his 11th season. Couple years, he was a head coach in Virginia, 3 times coach of the year in his area before coming back here. He was a Woodbury grad, was also a volunteer assistant on the state championship team for Woodbury back in 1998. The only title that the Royals have in football. And he has brought this high-powered offense here to Woodbury consistently. And they're having a tremendous 6-win season, trying to make it 7. And as you said, lay claim to maybe a top seed. Kickoff received by the Cougars. Great coverage, but a tough out for the Cougars on the return for Maverick Harper. And the sophomore, who plays a lot on special teams and specializes in making those stops himself, pushes the football after contact out to the 24-yard line.
Well, in an offense like Andy Hill's really only works if you have a special quarterback. And certainly from what we've seen so far, Bajellos looks like a special quarterback, certainly has the arm talent, just a sophomore too, so a lot of sophomore contributors on this Royals team, and the future seems pretty bright in Woodbury.
And the sophomore quarterback, Dalen Cummings, back out there. He's got his Mr. Everything, Chase Granzo, as the tight end in this set. Off to the left side, Kevin Jansa, who'd be more the pass-catching guy if called on. He's on the right. Lou's the up back. They'll get it to Lou, running behind Granzo, who bursts open a little bit of a seam for Lance Lou to push him out to the 35-yard line. The 35-yard line as the drive starts at the 29. It's a 5-yard pickup, 2nd down and 5.
We're actually giving him 7 on that carry, so 9 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown on the night for Lou, but it's never the first contact that brings Lou down. It always takes multiple defenders to make the stop.
Clark's the single wide receiver, top of the screen right. Lou carries it again, has the first down again before he's written down by Abdullah after he got off that hole on the left side and bursts out to the 45.
A real powerful run as Lou, again, breaking arm tackles. Arm tackles are never going to be enough Abdullah making a nice stop, but Cougars are already out near midfield.
5'11", 200 pounds. He's low to the ground, he's strong, and he is not afraid of that contact to run between the tackles in this Cougar offense. Hand on the ground again for Lance Liu on a first down. He will get the fake this time as Dalen Cummings rolls his way close to the 48-yard line. He was brought down before he could get free. Abdullah again making a tackle. 6'2", 200-pound senior linebacker Abdullah.
Yeah, that was better defended by Woodbury. As Cummings, I think, surprised them with the first couple keepers. He's up near 40 yards of rushing tonight as well.
Abdullah, their top tackler, with 63 on the season coming in. All over the place at that middle linebacker spot. And now floating around in the eye line of Cummings. That time will give to Liu, and he draws a crowd of white-shirted Royals at the 50 and tumbles his way into Woodbury territory at the 49-yard line. Pick up 3. It'll be a 3rd down and 4.
And it's never fancy with this offense necessarily. It's either quarterback keeper around the end or one of their big powerful backs in between the tackles, and that's usually enough. Certainly a ball control offense, and we're already nearing halftime, unbelievably so.
That's what the Cougars can do. They won their rivalry game courtesy of a very long second half drive here against Blaine, and took any fight out of the Bengals, who had gone toe for toe in the first half, tied at 14. Long drives can get it done. A whistle will stop this one. Did the Cougars take a timeout? There was a little bit of confusion.
They did.
So Coach Diggins, better part of valor to take the timeout, talk to his squad with 5.5 to go on a big 3rd down and 4. A game you led by 2. Now you lead by a touchdown at 14-7. This is a very key moment right here to not keep that momentum for Woodbury.
No question. You don't want to give the ball back with still all 3 timeouts and plenty of clock to work with. So if you pick up this drive, you figure another 2 or 3 minutes can come off the clock with that rushing attack. So this is a really important moment, whereas if you kick it away to Woodbury, they march down and get one before half, all of a sudden you're tied at halftime, and the momentum is completely in the favor of the blue and white. So very critical 3rd down here.
One other game going on with our North Metro TV schools is Spring Lake Park is taking on Armstrong at home. Both those teams coming in at 5-2 and 1-1 in Suburban Blue. Spring Lake Park out to a 7-0 lead. Those two teams, though, Bill, you talk about a lot of touchdowns. Last week, 55 points for Spring Lake Park. 3 of the last 4. Armstrong has put up 40. Could be some more scoring in that one to come. Lance Liu, no, the keeper Cummings. He's to the edge, has the 1st down and more, and hot foots his way out of bounds near the 35 of Woodbury, and the drive will continue.
Great pickup of 10 on 3rd down. As you see it here, textbook, the linebacker bit down Abdullah. Got to have discipline if you're going to play successfully against the Centennial offense, if you're going to keep him in check. And all it takes is that right end to dive down and chase the tailback and try to make the tackle. And then Cummings just scoots around, picks up 10, and a huge 1st down.
I know you've never seen the film, Bill, which I still think is a travesty, but everybody knows you run the veer, as Denzel Washington said in Remember the Titans, you read it or you weep. And that's what the quarterback has to do in these type of option offenses, and Cummings reading it better and better with each passing day. This, though, a flag comes out. Did we get a timeout first? We did. Cougars take another timeout and avoid the penalty, so they use their 2nd of the game.
And, you know, you might as well, as you're heading toward half, but you don't normally like to see multiple timeouts used on a single drive, but yeah, don't want to take the penalty either, so. Lots to talk about.
Cougars won 4 straight after dropping their first 2 to Stillwater, 7-0. 3-point loss on the road to St. Michael Albertville, a game they were up 16-0. A couple of defensive scores in that game. Got the cobwebs out of the offense, scoring 41 here against Totino Grace for their first win. Beat Maple Grove in a gigantic upset here at home as well, 21-7. Went on the road to Wayzata, and going on the road, Bill, maybe made that one an even bigger upset, and holding Wayzata scoreless made it maybe even a bigger upset. Won that one 6-0. Got the rivalry win against Blaine, and then lost last week to Minnetonka. Just a tremendous role for this Cougar team, despite the result last week.
Well, and the thing about that Wayzata win was they were 4-0 and second ranked in state. So you were playing a team loaded with confidence at home, and you still beat them 6-0, shut them out.
Lance Nielsen Jr. room to roam, and he cuts upfield. He's got even more room inside the 20. All breaking tacklers down to the 10, and he's inside the 10-yard line. First down and goal for the Cougars. Lance Nielsen Jr. to the edge and then upfield for number 5.
We've got an injured Woodbury player, but look at the vision for Lance Nielsen Jr. switching the ball to his left hand, getting inside the 10-yard line, or down to the 10, I guess. But a huge run. And now the Cougars are in business with inside 5 minutes to go in the quarter.
The sticks are down, so it is goal to go at the 10-yard line. Spring Lake Park, meanwhile, just tacked on another touchdown against Armstrong, so they lead it 14-0. Trying to break that deadlock behind Cooper in the Suburban Blue. Will try to give it to Lance Liu, but Cummings still pulled it away with time to spare and crawls ahead to the 7-yard line before he's taken down by Garrett Smith.
It's pretty amazing in this veer option offense how late you can make that decision, but certainly Cummings seems to be making the right ones, generally speaking, and manages to pick up positive yardage on that play.
Goal to go from the 7 for the Cougars. Clark's going to split wide. O'Neal is also in the slot, just offset to the right, the wing position right side. Wing for Lance Nielsen Jr. on the left. O'Neal in motion. Fake the give to the up man Liu. Cummings kept it that time, and the wrong read that time. Woodbury stayed right with him, and Kayode Amusan brings him down on the edge.
Yeah, I think he'd want this one back. Liu had the hole. He had a huge hole. Woodbury just not faked at all by it.
Scott Hansen, too, deserves some credit. He kept that edge and kept the pitch away as we're under 4 minutes to go. This time it will be Liu tumbling down on 3rd and goal, close to the 5-yard line. After they lost 2, they got 4 of them back, and it's 4th and goal from the 5, and the kicking unit coming out there with Eli Nowaski.
Not the result they wanted, considering they had 1st and goal at the 10, but it could be points. We'll see. We don't want to count our chickens, but 22-yard attempt, certainly within Nowaski's range.
He's hit a 29-yarder for his lone field goal of the season. Right-footed kicker. The snap coming back, that's bobbled. The hold never got down, and the ball is free. The ball was dropped. Woodbury looking to tie this game down the field for Scott Hansen, and he will go all the way for 6. The worst possible outcome when Nathan Strom couldn't handle the snap, tried to make something out of nothing, and that slick ball on a slick night bounces right for Woodbury, and we're an extra point away from a tie.
I mean, you said it, absolutely disastrous outcome after you picked up a huge 3rd down, got it all the way to the 10 on that big play, and then the drive stalls out. High snap that the holder couldn't handle, and just like that, Scott Hansen, who we know is a speedster, just scoops the ball up and goes completely untouched, basically 85 yards to the house, and now Woodbury can tie this game, completely change the complexion after Centennial had been up 14-0.
Snap back, this hold is down. There were whistles coming in. There's a flag down for a false start, so Woodbury's going to have to redo this here with 2:55 remaining. And they'll back them up for this try for the place kicker, Xander Anderson. So 2 scores out of the gates for the Cougars to lead it 14-0, but the last 2, one defensively for Scott Hansen, and an extra point away from a tie game. Holders Joey Gerlach gets this one down. Anderson's kick attempt just hops over the crossbar and through. I think that was tipped on the way across the line too, and it bounces correctly off the crossbar and in. Here's the fumbled snap that led to the score and the scoop for Woodbury. It was poked out too. It wasn't just straight dropped.
Yeah, what a
Gerlach.
Huge hit by Joey Gerlach. A big play, and the ball bounces right to Hansen. big-time players going to FCS programs like Gerlach. He just read it right, made the stop, popped it out of the holder's hands, and all of a sudden, as we said, this game completely turned on its head. Centennial still has a timeout and 2:55 to work with before the half, but obviously all the momentum with the Royals at the moment.
That's their third defensive touchdown of the season. First one off a fumble recovery for the Royals. And it ties this game at 14 apiece. You knew you were going to get the counter, and it's come in the form of a touchdown drive led by George Bagelos and finished off by R.J. Altman. And now the fumbled snap, scoop, score from Scott Hansen.
Joey Gerlach just making plays everywhere. Defensive, we've called his name many times tonight, and he makes the play of the game for Woodbury so far on special teams.
Will Quick up the right side. Made two men miss around the 25, and he continues to step his way through fallen tacklers close to the 30-yard line. And that's where the drive will start. And you see,
yeah,
looks like they might have been down on that one. The whistle never blew, though, so credit Woodbury for playing through it. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, and they would have just turned it over right there.
Yeah, I think maybe, and obviously in hindsight's 20/20, but if he'd had a half second more, he could have just fallen on it and just fallen forward and then ended the play. But obviously on his knees, refs probably blocked from that one. So that's a tough break for the Cougars because it did look like that should have been down. But again, credit to Gerlach for making the play.
So the Cougars will start at their own 28-yard line. Dalen Cummings will keep it, and he can't make Hansen miss. The ball came out after the knee was down, but scooped back up by Cummings as he gets to the 31-yard line. Picks up 3. Drive starting just under 3 minutes to go in the half as Cummings calls his own number again.
Well, and Hansen was out on an island playing that right cornerback position, and he just came down to play that run. So sticking his nose in to make the tackle, and really Gerlach and Hansen have been the two names we've called most often for Woodbury tonight.
Just one timeout left, by the way, for the Cougars as well. They had to spend those 2 timeouts in the span of 3 plays. Run it with Lou. He's tripped up before he can get a head of steam going close to the 35-yard line. He'll bring up a key third down. Let's see what Woodbury does with the clock. It's spinning now. And the Cougars will get the football to start the second half in this tie game, all things being equal.
Well, I think the Cougars should take as much time as they can on these last couple plays. Big third down here. You want to keep the ball away from this explosive offense if you can, considering they have all 3 of their timeouts.
That's what I assumed Woodbury would spend one right there before third down, but it's all the way to 90 seconds to go as Cummings keeps it. He can only get past the 35 to the 36. And the Royals still allow the clock to spin, and now they will call the timeout with 1:22 to go. I mean, I'd say that was good. I know you want to save some timeouts for your offense, but wouldn't you rather save some more time for your offense? If you've got all 3, you could spend 2 and still have the 1 if you get the stop. They let probably 1.5 minutes at least go by the wayside there with not calling it until they did after the second down play.
Yeah, especially because the clock stops obviously in high school when they move the chains on first down. You have enough clock stoppages and you can run out routes and get out of bounds that I agree.
Cummings.
Oh, yeah.
He got ripped backwards by the wayward right hand of Abdullah. So some tape maybe to send in over the last 4 minutes. You can't do anything about it now, but
yeah, just one penalty called on each team, and ironically, it was kind of that little soft shove near the sidelines where the player actually kind of held up, but Cougars forced to punt, and Woodbury looking to continue their fine finish to this second quarter.
Granzo's back to punt. 80 seconds to go as he puts his foot into it. It's going to be taken by Gerlach on the fly, and he's got nowhere to go. Great coverage by the Cougars. Bring him down almost right where he stood, close to the 33-yard line, and flying down the field went Jaden Lutz to make the tackle.
Terrific work by our camera crew, by the way, to spot both of those missed calls, and certainly when Centennial coaches, if they find out about that, will be none too pleased. But good coverage here by the Centennial special teams, making them drive
Bill, don't you know they get together at Coach Diggins' house and watch our telecast every Saturday morning after we're out here? They'll see it. They'll see it.
I take back what I said about that third down decision then.
Not the Woodbury coaches, the Cougar coaches. Hanson out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. And so a big pickup on first down. That'll pause the clock with 1:06 to go. And Woodbury trying to make it 3 straight touchdowns after they were down 14-0. This Cougar defense, they held right here at this portion of the field twice in the first quarter. Need to do it again. Clock stopped also because Hanson got all the way out of bounds, so forget the change. It's not going to roll until they snap this football here with 1:06 to go. Picked up 11. Pocket breaks down, and in comes Mason Mix and brings down Bagelos.
Mason Mix with that neck roll, such an old school linebacker, and he's got an interception and a sack to his credit in this first half. Big loss of 3 on the play.
Cole Eriksrud collapsed the left side as well to allow Mix to get there. 41 seconds and counting here with a 2nd down and 13 for this Woodbury offense. 2 left, 1 right. Single tailback off to the right-hand side of Bagelos. Again, the corners break in. Bagelos has to step through, looking to get down the field. It is knocked away and incomplete. 20 seconds to go, a 3rd down coming up. There's Luke Clark making the play as the free safety right there in the middle of things for the Cougars.
Really well read by Luke Clark. Watch him come over the top and just bat it away with that left hand. Didn't commit pass interference. And I think that after that sack, Woodbury might have wished they had one of those timeouts to take. They chose not to. Clock is stopped, like you said, with just 20.5 seconds left, and they've still got 69 yards to go to reach the end zone.
Well, they've got 3 of their top 4 receivers who average 15 yards per grab. They're not out of it here. Now Woodbury will spend a timeout.
Centennial just has to play smart, sit back in that zone, and keep everything in front of them, as they say, and hope that their front 4 can get some pressure.
Woodbury does have 1 timeout remaining. They, too, into this game, only attempted 1 field goal. That was from 30 yards for their kicker, Anderson. So they've got a ways to go to get into that range, too, to just think about points of some kind. Cougars, well, and everybody after this week's play today and tomorrow. Bengals, the 3rd of our teams, they're playing tomorrow. 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll have that one too from Bengals Stadium against Osseo. Then everybody's sitting around and waiting in 6A for the breakdown of the bracket. Big game for both of these teams. Cougars top end at this point would be a 2 seed potentially, and that would come with a win today to put themselves maybe in that conversation. Woodbury, as Bill broke down, things go right. They could end up as a 1 seed. Dump it off to Gerlach, trying to make something happen. Got 1 block near midfield. Angling to the outside, still on his feet to cut back in. 10 seconds to go as he spins out of bounds, and there's 8 seconds left as he's close to the 22-yard line. And a big-time pickup there on yards after the catch. The little dump-off set up well on the screen to Gerlach.
37 yards on that pickup, and you get it in the hands of your playmakers with a couple blockers in front.
There was a flag on the play that came in on the near side, so they're going to lose a little bit here. It was just before that where
after
they put the
play?
laundry. I think it was in. Was it after the play?
May have been holding.
There it was.
At the a spot foul, obviously, so that's huge.
So 8 seconds left, and the spot plus the penalty is going to put them back in their own territory.
Yeah, it looks like the penalty came at the 39-yard line, so obviously blocking downfield in the course of that long run for Gerlach.
So just into Cougar territory at the 47.
Gerlach goes off.
So 8 seconds to go. It is 3rd. Well, the scoreboard says, yeah, it is 3rd down. Everybody's on the same page now. 3rd down. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Play fake for Bagelos. This could be the last play of the half. He's chased by Granzo. A flag comes out. Down he goes near the 50. And they made the play with .4 remaining on the clock. Clock operator here at Centennial. Hair trigger. Quick reflexes. .4 standing on the clock. Sort out the penalty. Likely they're going to decline this and make it 4th down with .4 to go. Well, I guess you could back them up for any sort of Hail Mary too. With you only got one down left anyway. Third down, fourth down doesn't matter at this point. Cougars scheduled to get the ball to start the second half. Still, Coach Diggins will take the yards. And a timeout taken by Woodbury. Their final.
You can't take them with you, so.
Would have brought the runoff too, right? I mean,
the 10-second runoff, of course.
0.4 seconds. And just, again, that's been one of the best parts of this defense, Bill, all throughout this first half has been that push up front. That's how they got that stop. On fourth down, they've put pressure on Bagelos, where he hasn't necessarily seen that against some of the teams they've faced already this year.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to imagine, based on, you looking at the opponents that Woodbury has played as the rain has started here at Cougar Stadium, you'd have to imagine that this Centennial front four is as ferocious as Woodbury has faced. It seems kind of weird, given I understand how the scheduling is these days, but it feels weird that Stillwater is unbeaten, next door neighbors to Woodbury basically, and the two teams haven't played each other. Old Suburban East Conference foes.
Well, old head coach from Woodbury, now Bo LeBoer, is at Stillwater now, so there is also that connection too. Just didn't work out on the schedule. They played last year, I believe, as I was looking at it. Cougars, though, they're the ones who got Stillwater. Final play of the half, barring a penalty on Centennial. Bagelos lets it fly, and it is knocked down by the Cougars, and we will go to the half tied at 14. We'll have some scores as well from our other games, but here the Cougars got on the board first with 2. Woodbury scores the last 2. And we are tied in this top 10 matchup at Centennial High School on North Metro TV.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous.
Ready for a second half of play here at Centennial High School. The rain falling now more than I think it's fallen consistently since we started this game. The field, the surface had to dry out a little bit from storms that rolled through. They even put out a tweet about severe weather sometime mid-afternoon, but the game got off as started. Got out to a 14-0 Cougar lead, tied at 14 now. Cougars get the football. J.W. Cox alongside Bill Hupp underneath the press box roof, thankfully, as Mav Harper sprints it up the right side. And it goes past the 27 or the 25-yard line to the 27-yard line, where the Cougars will start with the football.
Yeah, ball security could be an issue. Obviously harder to pass in the rain, but wouldn't be surprised at all to see a few more fumbles in this half as the rain has intensified, as you pointed out.
Cougar offense will start with the football. Against every fiber of my being, I have to close the window because everything's getting wet in here. So we'll do windows closed for the rest of this one here in the press box, or at least until it stops raining on all of my sheets of paper. Dalen Cummings peering through those droplets to the sideline from that right hash. He's got Lance Nilsson Jr. as the tape back. Lance Liu, the up back, carried them down the field on a couple of short drives. First carry goes for Liu, trying to run inside the left tackle, and he pushes his way close to the 30. They'll spot him at the 29-yard line on a pickup of 2. Keep the clock spinning, under 12 minutes to go.
Liu in that first half, 13 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Certainly doing that bell cow work that we're used to seeing from him. Only had 6 carries against Minnetonka. Obviously the game script against Centennial in that one, but certainly they like a game in which they can feed their horse as much as possible.
Cummings ducks under center, single tight end, double wings as Nielsen Jr. goes in motion. It will be Liu running right side, and he pushes his way for a first down. Powerful running by Lance Liu that time. Tucked into the hip of Isaiah Ward. That's a good place to be, 6'3", 280, and pushes his way to a Cougar first down.
And that's the thing, is he can just get 7, 8, 9 yards of crack, and before you know it, you've matriculated the ball down the field. And you've also chewed up, 5-6 minutes off the clock.
Cummings comes up under center, same formation, 2 wings again. Cummings will give it to O'Neal, tries to turn the corner, go back up in the middle, and he's met by Gerlach and a couple of pals. Carter Klein in there on the stop along with Abdullah. Nowhere to go.
A decent play design, just his second carry of the game, but Gerlach really solid in his read, coming down from his safety position to make the stick.
Our other North Metro TV school, Spring Lake Park in action. That game also on with that one too. 14-7 at the half. Spring Lake Park with the lead. Cummings, I think, was looking to hand off, so now just has to try and dump it down, and it's intercepted by a defensive lineman for Woodbury. Matthew Mock takes it away as Cummings was just trying to throw it away at the feet of a receiver, and Mock was there, and it's a big-time turnover, the second of the game for Woodbury to set him up in this tie game.
We talked about decision-making and ball security. I think that may have been hit and deflected a little bit as he threw it, and Mock just makes the interception just timely there, and certainly not the senior defensive end, not something he does a lot, but gives the Royals great field position.
From the Cougar 28-yard line, and they'll sling the pass out to Hansen left side. It was his first half with that big play. They get him involved in the offense as well. The big play defensively, the bobbled snap, scoop, and score. He gets it down close to the 20-yard line to pick up 8 on a little swing pass from Bajelos.
Bajelos now 6 of 12, 50% for 89 yards, so they've held him in check. I mean, this is a team that averages nearly 215 passing yards a game, but Cougar defense hoping to bend but not break.
Put in a tough spot, single tailback. Altman will get the carry. Granzo hits him in the hole, and the ball came out. Or did he squeak forward? He did. He tried to crawl forward for extra yards. We'll have to look at this one again, because all of a sudden he was tackled by 2 Cougars in the driving rain here and then fell ahead. Yeah, he just made his way out of that tackle. I thought it was a sure thing with Isaiah Ward and Granzo on top of him. He gets extra yards, and it's a first down inside the 15.
He's a pretty good-sized back, and he's shown us some power. Got first down yardage there.
Altman, stretch it to him. Bajelos keeps straight up the middle, and he will score, cashing in the second turnover of the game for this Woodbury defense. 3 plays later, and it's a lead. The last 20 points scored by Bajelos and the Royals.
Bajelos from 14 yards out, and they keyed on Altman, and they look to follow Altman around the left end, but Bajelos just able to go through virtually untouched into the end zone.
Minute 10 goes off the clock. His second rushing touchdown of the season. Snap back, tough hold in the rain, put down by Gerlach and up and through by Xander Anderson. And it is 21-14, the game that was once 14-0 Cougars.
Yeah, you see, and that play fake it held the linebackers, it took the eyes of the defensive end, and at the end, and before they knew it, Bajelos was past him. So Bajelos hasn't been as prolific through the air tonight, but he certainly showed his athleticism on that play with, I believe, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. And enough of a threat to run that you have to respect it. Woodbury has scored 21 unanswered to take a 7-point lead.
Cougars will get the football back. 14 of those 21 coming as direct results, and shortly after, Cougar turnovers. They're -1 in the take-give as the kickoff heads towards Quick at the 9-yard line, and Will Quick up the right side looking for that seam. He likes to work around the edge, and he runs into a bear hug from Sean Norman, the sophomore linebacker for Woodbury.
It is absolutely pouring down there. So Centennial, we talked about at the beginning of the half that ball security would be an issue. I thought it would result more in fumbles, but it was just a slipped pass out of the hands of Cummings that resulted in that short field for Woodbury. And now how will Centennial respond? Obviously want to keep it on the ground and try to move the ball that way.
Woodbury stands across the way full. They've traveled well. They're letting their team hear about it with the 21-0 run, and the Cougars will start the wrong way with a false start, losing them 5 yards on this drive.
Penalty's not really a factor in this game. Just the second penalty for 20 yards in the game on Centennial. Woodbury just 1 penalty for 5 yards.
So it was Woodbury who had the gut check, down 14-0. They responded with their lone extended touchdown drive, 8 plays, 63, after they forced the punt from the Cougars late in the first quarter. Since then, it has been their defense creating opportunities. Picking up the fumbled snap on the field goal attempt and the interception. It set up the latest scoring drive. Cummings gives right side, all kinds of room for Doherty. He's down the field, sprinting from Hansen and taken down from behind. But a huge run on a counter punch from Riley Doherty down to the 25-yard line, and the Cougars in business, down a score.
54 yards on that run for Doherty. Just cuts it upfield, and then he's got a huge hole. Ultimately tracked down from behind by number 11 for the Royals, Garrett Smith, but not before. That's a huge play for Centennial to get him a little bit of momentum back and the ball in Woodbury territory.
Exactly what they needed. A little change of pace with Doherty. We'd only seen him once before on a crossing pattern. As it will go to Lance Liu, and he's dragged down by Hansen once he starts to hit the hole on the left side, taken down at the 18-yard line. But a 7-yard pickup. A couple different wings in there on that play, Bill, for the Cougars. It wasn't the usual, and still is not the usual, of Nielsen Jr. and Daniel O'Neill. Riley Doherty's out there on the left side. And the wing off to the right is Colin Lee, another senior.
Little change of pace just to give Woodbury a bit of a different look.
Lance Liu remains the constant as the up back, and he tries to climb over the line of scrimmage, tripped up by Amusan. After a short gain, it's going to be 3rd and 1.
And again, I think 9 times out of 10, you're going to feel really good about Lance Liu on 3rd and 1. So this is exactly the kind of 3rd down situation that Centennial wants to find itself in.
Feel good about the push. You can get up the middle guard spots with the likes of Marco Villa on that left guard side. They'll run right guard side instead. Cummings will keep, pitches to Doherty, and he's got the first down. Not much after, but he gets inside the 15, enough to move the chains before he's brought down by Quentin Cobb Butler.
Cobb Butler with some pretty impressive defensive discipline. It wasn't like Woodbury played that wrong, but Doherty and the play design good enough to get them enough yardage to move the chains.
Cobb Butler, 2 defensive scores this season. He's got interception returns for touchdowns of 60 and 22 yards. That time has to make a play in space, and he does, but the first down already picked up by the Cougars. Lee again will be still out there. He's split inside of Doherty, wide to the left. They'll give to Liu. Liu to the second level and dragged down by his ankles as he gets to the 6. Touchdown saving play made by Garrett Smith. Second time he's done that in 5 plays now.
Liu just ran right by the defensive end, Ahmed Abdullah, as he was looking to see if Cummings was going to keep it. Liu just ran right by him.
2nd and 1. Liu trying to get that push. He runs into a crowd at the edge.
It'll depend on the spot.
I think they got him back foot instead of front foot, so it's going to bring up 3rd down and inches. Under 6 minutes to go and still spinning. 3rd down. They can get a first down at and beyond the 5-yard line. And then work on goal to go. Lee and Doherty out to the left. They'll give it to Liu. No, the keeper for Cummings running behind Liu, and he's got the first down, pushing to the 2-yard line. A pickup of 4.
I love that play because Liu acts as a natural fullback. He takes away, he can either block or he takes away the defenders and allows Cummings to just go right in through the hole.
Cummings brings him to the line. He's got Liu as the deep back. Lee split wide to the right, Dougherty split to the left. They will give it to Lou. He tumbles ahead, close to the goal line, and he is a yard short, half a yard short. 2nd and goal to go from inside the 1. I was trying to find Lance Nielsen Jr. or Daniel O'Neill, because it's interesting that this has now gone the way of Dougherty and Lee as the wings on this drive, but it's Lou, the deep back. They'll give it to Lou, and he bursts his way into the end zone. Cougars back within an extra point at 21-20.
Well, after not really featuring Lance Lou in last week's loss to Minnetonka for assorted reasons, they have gone back to their workhorse tonight. 21 carries, 81 yards, and now 2 scores for the senior running back. And it's a huge drive, and it's all keyed on that big 54-yard scamper by Dougherty.
Now a huge extra point. Nowoski with his holder, Strom. Snap back, Strom gets it down, and it's blocked by Gerlach. He flew in to get it with 2 hands, and it's a 1-point lead for Woodbury.
Well, if Centennial ends up losing this game, it's going to be because of Joey Gerlach on special teams. As you see the highlight for the touchdown there, Lou just powering it in, and even though Abdullah made the tackle, it wasn't nearly in time enough. And I think Gerlach just flew off the edge to make that block. Not sure if he's just timed up the snap or what, but obviously a great athlete, as you see it here. Bit of a high snap, and Gerlach just flies in Superman style and swallows that up. Kicked it into his face mask, basically.
Lance Lou helping power his team here. 2 touchdowns today, 9-play, 73-yard drive that takes 4:06 off the clock. The ball will go back to Woodbury in this tie game, in this 1-point game now. Coach Diggins drenched by the second half rain here. Looking for some answers. And we'll have to find it on the defensive side. Now the good thing is, be able to kick this away and let the defense actually work with not a short field. The last 2 scores, one a fumble return, 80+ yards, and the last one set up in Cougar territory on the interception. Bouncing kick to the left side, eventually scooped up over there. I believe that was scooped up by Cobb Butler, who had a line of defenders in front of him. It was, and he falls across the 25, and they will spot him at the 26-yard line.
Well, now would be time for the Cougars defense to force another turnover or to get a 3-and-out. They had a couple of those in the first half, but Woodbury has found their footing offensively, and it's been helped by, of course, having some short fields to work with.
2 wide receivers, 2 tailbacks, one either side, flanking Bajelos. Altman is top tailback off to his left. He will give instead to the man on the right, and that's Copeland. He tries to push it up the middle. Mason Nix stands in his way at the 29-yard line, a pickup of 2. 4:20 and counting. Neither team has used a timeout to this point in the 3rd quarter. The Cougars a 2nd and long now to defend. Nielsen Jr. is back out there defensively at his defensive back spot.
They just given him the offensive series off.
Yeah, as is Daniel O'Neill. They will give it again to Copeland. Copeland to the edge. Copeland runs into Reese Newdahl, who knocks him down, but Copeland drags him across the chains and picks up the 1st down, close to the 40, make it the 37-yard line.
Copeland with a nice run of 8 here. Just turns it upfield, squares the shoulders, and gains positive yardage, moving the chains.
Woodbury came into this game averaging 174 on the ground, a pass-heavy offense at 213 through the air per game. But they've gotten it done against this defensive front more often than not. There's the knot as Copeland is pulled back at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Granzo off the edge, makes the stop. Actually, that was Brady Ivory who got there on that edge and brought him down for no gain. It's 2nd and 10. Number 14 in black setting that edge.
And Copeland giving the heavy feature, at least on this drive. And yeah, Mason Nix in there as well. The Centennial defense is ferocious and will fly to the football.
2nd down and 10. Bagelos puts it into Copeland's belly, and again he runs into Ivory. Brings him down shy of the 40-yard line. Short pickup. It'll be a 3rd down and long here, under 3 minutes to go, and the clock spinning in the 3rd quarter.
Well, they keep trying that left edge with Copeland, hoping to get him on the edge and get him to use his speed. It worked when they picked up the 1st down, but the last 2 plays, Cougars defense has responded well, that short side, and they've flowed to the football and stopped him up.
3rd down for Bagelos and company. 3 wide receivers tight to the formation right now. Joe Mahoney goes in motion right to left. Bagelos wants to throw. Pressure coming up the middle. Got it out of his hands and got it to his top target, Blake Rohr, who pushes his way down the sideline for a little extra yardage into Cougar territory. He's got the 1st down and more to the 40.
Big pickup of 21 on this play. And Rohr just got away from Reese Newdahl.
Thought he had him stopped, and he got 4 or 5 extra.
A simple little crossing pattern, and that was enough.
Did you bring a squeegee with you tonight, Bill? It's getting a little foggy through these windows.
Borrow Kenton Kipp's umbrella to get to my car.
Run coming to the near side into the belly of R.J. Altman, and he turns the corner before he's dragged down by Mason Mix. And it's going to be a 1st down. Chains move again to the 31, so they had him on a 3rd down and long. The big pickup to Rohr, and that is what has moved them down into Cougar territory with another 1st down.
Well, in doing that, the fake after will set up the play fake eventually. But
Cougar defense in the rain, the heaviest we've seen. We could be dealing with this for the rest of the game. Looking at the forecast, most of the 1st half played in the dry conditions. The rain rolled through earlier. Direct snap going to Altman. Altman trying to go to the left side. Newdahl comes up to make the tackle, forces him back in to help and drags him down shy of the 40-yard line, shy of the 30-yard line, excuse me. Be a 2nd down coming up. Pickup of 1.
Continues to penetrate the pass box here, but yeah, good job there reacting to that Wildcat and able to make the stop. Sometimes that's effective the first couple times, and then the defense reacts to it. Bagelos back in there for the Royals.
Swing pass going out to the right side. It'll be scooped up by Hansen. He tries to turn the corner, runs into Will Quick, who bumps him out inside of 40 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
He gave him a 10 down to the 20, so again the Royals threatening Centennial's red zone.
Their touchdown drive, the longest engineered by the offense, 8 plays in the 1st half. This will be play number 9 of this drive here. Altman again in the backfield. He has Copeland off to his left. It's actually Copeland who's going to, well, it's Altman who does take the direct snap, trying to run behind Copeland. Cougars stop him up after he gets inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. In the middle of all of that, Tyler Rundle brings him down.
I wonder if they feel like it's just safer for them to run the football. They're being pretty effective with it. I mean, they picked up 3 on that one, but Altman has been much more heavily featured, and that's going to be the final play of the 3rd quarter.
Why not? They feel much more comfortable just letting those seconds slip away, up by a point with the football. 2nd and 7 to greet the Cougar defense from their 17 when we come back for the 4th quarter. Big top 10 matchup. Cougars got back within 1 thanks to Lance Liu. Down 1 still though, and the defense trying to hold when we come back on North Metro TV. One-point game headed to the 4th quarter, 21-20. Woodbury has the lead. J.W. Cox alongside Bill Hupp, and the raindrops as well. Even infiltrated the camera lens there. Throwing a glow on this one. Was talking to Kenton Kemp at halftime to confirm what I couldn't find, but what turned out to be true. 2004, these 2 teams met one another in the state tournament at Centennial High School. The Cougars came away with a win against Woodbury that night. Tonight, they've got some work to do. A 2nd down and 7 from the 17-yard line. Little quick swing pass out to the right. That finds Rohr bumping off tacklers, and he gets inside the 5 as a first down and goal before Mason Mix can bring him out of bounds at the 4.
Yeah, they can hurt you in all kinds of different ways. There is a... Nope, never mind. That's not a penalty flag. That's the outline of the soccer.
That was last night.
Soccer lines. But simple little pitch and catch moves the chains, gets it down to the 3-yard line on that pickup.
Goal to go in the 4th quarter. Woodbury was down 14-0, seemingly down and out. Their defense has made 2 huge plays that have led directly to points in this game to help give them the lead. That time, though, the Cougar defense reads the keeper. And it's a big play by Tim Ball coming up the middle to bring down Bagelos.
It worked on the last drive, Bagelos running it in from 14 yards. That time, however, they read it well and gang tackled Bagelos, didn't fall for the Altman sweep.
So back to the line of scrimmage, so no gain, goal to go from the 4. Playoffs next for both of these teams, waiting on the seeding in the 6A tournament. Let's see where they'll head. Both of these teams an inside track certainly to host a game. Win in the final game of the regular season going a long way as Altman runs inside and takes his way down to the goal line and touchdown. Woodbury got the late signal and the score.
Evan Altman now 13 carries, 56 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he was featured prominently on that drive, and now a pretty critical extra point here. Obviously it makes it still a 1-score game, but that 2-point conversion, as you see Altman just slipping out of the tackle of Chase Granzow and getting over the line just enough for 6.
Extra point. Anderson, the snap goes through the hands of Gerlach. He's looking to throw, puts it towards the end zone, and it's a 2-point conversion. Joey Gerlach doing it all as he finds Kip Copeland for 2 on the prayer, and now it's a 2-score game. Wow.
Joey Gerlach, like you said, doing it all. I mean, hit as he threw, no less, and still found its way to Kip Copeland. I mean, unbelievable. The bounce is just not going Centennial's way tonight. Goes through the hands of Gerlach, who took his eye off it, and then he just heaves this 24-yard pass right to an open receiver. Couldn't have been a better ball thrown. And that's obviously not how Andy Hill drew it up, but he'll take it. And now, what I had said before about it being still a 1-score game, now it's a 2-score game.
29-20. With 11 minutes to go, a 12-play drive, 5:32 off the clock for Woodbury. They were going to settle to make it a 2-point conversion, 1-possession game. Instead, Gerlach scoops it, which we saw can be dangerous on a bobbled snap. Scoops it. And with the defense rushing at him, nobody left around the goal line, and Kip Copeland made himself available. Kickoff taken near side. Quick drag down. Quick tackle by Ahmed Abdullah. And it'll be a long field to go for this Cougar offense, needing 2 possessions here to take a lead and come all the way back at their own 21.
And we've talked about it before. Centennial's offense not really geared to come back in games. They're a ball control movement offense, keep it on the ground and grind out long drives. So, you know, obviously a 2-score game, you're still in it, and you're still a field goal away, a field goal and a touchdown away, but needing points on this drive, one way or another.
Cummings is going to throw on first down, and it's incomplete. He was trying to find Luke Clark. He also had Dougherty in the area. Just threw that one up there through the rain, which also lobs in another variable for Dalen Cummings. 44% through the air for 284 coming into this game for the sophomore. Not what he's often asked to do. It's 2nd down and 10. Clock stops, 10:50 remaining in this game.
Just 1 of 3 for 32 yards tonight.
Lance Liu Back there's the deep back again. They're going to have to at some point get one of those turnovers back that they gave up in this game that have led directly to Woodbury points. Lou on 2nd down and 10 pushes ahead to the 25-yard line, so he picks up 4. It'll be 3rd and 6.
And again, 3rd and 6. A little farther than Centennial would like for 3rd down. I mean, they don't mind facing a 3rd down, but they'd prefer it to be a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2.
Woodbury Royals down 14-0. A team that, well, their strength of schedule hasn't been nearly what the Cougars have, but they have taken care of business every step of the way and now getting a chance against another top 10 opponent. They are proving equal to that task here tonight. Cummings to roll to the left, looking to throw on 3rd and 6. Down the field has Doherty, and he overthrew him. Doherty was open at the 50. And it just went over his outstretched arms. Under 10 to play here. And it's a 4th down and 6, and the punt unit coming out there.
Yeah, he had Doherty open. Doherty was a step or two behind his defender, but just a bit too much. You wonder if that slick ball affected the accuracy of the pass, and it forces a punt as Granzow is out there to boot it away.
Enzo steps up to his own 15-yard line, puts his foot into this one, booms it over the head of the returners, and bounds it out of bounds at the 32-yard line, where Woodbury will set up shop. And now definitely, Bill, you're the Cougar defense and trying to find the turnover here sooner rather than later, even though you still need another possession following that. But you cannot give up more points here to this Woodbury offense that's rolling in the second half to 2 touchdowns.
Ball security, the name of the game on this drive. Certainly Centennial will be coming in trying to rip the football out, hold up the running backs, and have other tacklers come in and try to force the turnover. And meanwhile, I would expect Woodbury to keep the football on the ground in the hands of Altman.
They'll swing it out on a quick pass to Hansen, trying to get him in space. He turns the corner, close to a 1st down, out past the 40. And they will move the chains at the 43-yard line. Picks up 10 on 1st down. The first 2 possessions, the Cougars score to take a 14-0 lead. Their last 5 possessions, an interception, a fumble, 2 punts, and the 1 touchdown. The missed PAT got them within 1 point.
Bigelos, after starting the game 1 for 5, JW, he's now 9 for his last 11 for 144 yards.
Keep it inside with Altman trying to pick his spot carefully as he dives ahead to the 45-yard line, taken down by Evan Lechner. 2-yard pickup on 1st down. Everything's stacked right now in Woodbury's favor.
Well, and for those of you just joining us, Centennial at one point led this game 14-0. Cougars have been outscored 29-6 since. So from the 2nd quarter on, it's been all Woodbury for the most part, outside of a couple promising drives for Centennial.
On a defensive touchdown, on a drop bobbled snap on a field goal attempt that went all the way back to the house for 6. As they'll keep it in the middle with Altman pushing past the 45 to the 46-yard line, picks up 1 more. So it'll be a 3rd down and 7. Got to get off the field right now inside 9 minutes to play in this game.
For Woodbury, again, just, first couple runs on 1st and 2nd down. They don't mind that. Just let this clock continue to roll. No hurry to get up to the line and snap this one.
Bigelos takes a little extra time with the coaching staff. Andy Hill played football at Woodbury. 1996 graduate, went on to play at St. Thomas. Eventually his coaching journey took him out east. And now back to his alma mater. Screen pass. Jacobson made the first man miss, couldn't make the next, and Mason Mix brings him down shy of the 45 at the 44. Brings up a 4th down. Clock will continue to spin. They'll run it down, use the entire play clock, and punt this one away. Around 7.5 minutes to go.
Well, it wasn't the turnover that the Cougars defense wanted to force, but they do get the ball back pretty quickly. So credit to this defense for continuing to play hard and get this football back for its offense in what should be decent field position if they can get a half-decent return.
Panthers, meanwhile, 21-7 lead going into the fourth quarter as this one booted away past the pressure. Quick calls for the fair catch at the 25-yard line. And that's a good defensive stand for the Cougars, but down 9 with 7.5. They've got to get the offense on track here.
JW, that Spring Lake Park game's a big one because if Armstrong loses at Spring Lake Park and Cooper wins at Benilde St. Margaret, Cooper will be the top seed in that Section 5 playoff bracket. And right now, Cooper, when last checked anyway, Cooper was ahead 33-0 over Benilde St. Margaret. So certainly looking like the Hawks will be the top seed in that section.
Don't love the chances for the Red Knights in that one with the way it started, 33-0.
No.
Cooper, a tremendous team, as obviously Spring Lake Park saw a couple of weeks ago. Bounced back well with their own win last week. Putting up 55 on the road at Tartan. Now trying to close the regular season with a win. Dalen Cummings tries to spring it out to Will Quick coming off the line, and he just couldn't hit him up over the top. And that's going to be a part throughout the season. Yes, this is a Cougar offense, Bill, that you're not going to ask your quarterback to throw it a lot, but you become even better and even more well-rounded if he can. And the sophomore, that's what he's going to have to work on moving forward in his career. The chances that they take through the air, he's got to be more accurate.
Yeah, no question. He has to be a threat with his legs and his arm. And that will come with time, especially as he becomes more mature as a quarterback and a decision maker.
Already leaps and bounds from where he was as a week 1 starter as a sophomore against Stillwater. All the numbers trending in the better direction, better and better with each passing week as he got it to Quick. Stretching to the far side at the 31-yard line. So he picks up 6. It'll be a 3rd down and 4.
Being told by the terrific Mike Peterson that Cooper is up on Benilde 41-0.
Mike knows people, knows things, and he gets stuff done. 3rd down. Cougars inside of 7 minutes to go here.
Obviously a critical 3rd down. They need to keep the chains moving and start getting some explosive plays.
Single wide to the left. They'll sprint up the middle with Lance Liu, and he just keeps the legs churning all the way to the 49-yard line to pick up 18 on 3rd down and 4. It does move the chain, sets him up near midfield. 6:40 to go. Lance Liu, the senior, not wanting his final regular season game to go by the wayside, and a powerful burst through the hole.
Runs through a couple arm tackles. Finally, Gerlach able to take him down near midfield, but that's exactly what the doctor ordered on 3rd down.
Of course it was Gerlach who took him down. He's done just about everything else as Cummings has the snap slip out of his hands as he tries to wheel to the left side. Keeps the play moving, something out of nothing, deeper into Woodbury territory. See where they spot him at the 44-yard line. So he picks up 5 after he nearly lost that. Trying to wipe his hands on the towel behind his back. Watch this one come bobbling out of his hands.
Pretty impressive. They actually give him 7 officially, so to make something of nothing and get all the way down to the 44-yard line, really a credit to the creativity and the poise of Dalen Cummings.
So 2nd down and 3. Clock stops as he goes out of bounds. He will give it to Liu, trying to run off tackles again, and all he's going to get is a yard, maybe 2, down to the 42-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd down and 1.
With that carry, Lance Liu now goes over 100 yards for the night. 23 carries, 101 yards, and a couple touchdowns for the senior.
Lance Liu had that gigantic game in the upset win over Maple Grove. This time gets the carry, and he did not get much forward progress. So it'll bring up a 4th down and 1. Push him back to the 42. Clock continues to spin, and another crucial play here for the Cougars down 9. They'll bring in Granzo, the extra tight end, as you see it again.
Yeah, just stacked up and driven back. Big number 66 for Woodbury. Lucas Wright in there, 6 foot, 250-pound nose tackle.
Barely comes off the field. He also plays center for this high-flying offense. Luke Wright making a play. 4th down and 1. They'll give it to Liu, running left side, but pins on the spot. They're running in awful close to the sticks. And we'll see. Woodbury thinks they stopped him. White hat comes in. 1st down, Cougars. The drive stays alive with 5:07 to go.
I think it was that second effort, that second push that got them the 1st down as he sort of tries to back over the line. And yeah, that was a good spot for the Cougars.
41-yard line, 1st and 10. Swing it right side. Out of a couple of tackles for Dougherty. And he's down close to the 35 at the 36. Clock continues to spin. 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5. Cougar offense trying to do a couple of things here to get bigger chunk plays. In this second half, we have not seen Daniel O'Neal or Lance Nielsen Jr. play much offense. Usually those two wings out there with Lou. That option look, Lou left side sprints to the first level and has a first down to the 28-yard line. Picks up 8. 4:26, pause as they reset the chains. A big burst. If the first man doesn't get him, you know Lance Lou getting downhill, and Gerlach finally brought him down.
Yeah, he just kind of falls forward. They got everyone in the block right now, just a couple wideouts in the pattern.
Cummings will keep trying to peel his way around the left side, and he runs into the bear hug of Garrett Smith. Brings him down. Short gain to the 26-yard line.
Still managed to pick up 3 on that one, but that's where that play is supposed to work after 7 or 8 straight carries of Lance Lou up the gut. Then you hit him with the keeper, Cummings going around left end.
We've seen
it
work.
Been effective, yeah.
We've seen it work. That time Woodbury stayed with it. Lou again inside, and he gets next to nothing. Down to the 26. There's less than 4 minutes to go in this game. Cougars still need 2 possessions here. Any way you slice it, down by 9.
And that's the thing, is they just do not have an offense that works very quickly when it's working, unless they get big chunk plays, Lou going 10, 15 yards at a time. If it's just 3 or 4 yards at a time, it moves the chains, but it also grinds the clock as we're inside of 3.5 minutes to play.
They still have 3 timeouts, but you have to pocket those for that last possession you hope to get. Dalen Cummings towards the end zone. Jansa was out there, and he just overthrew him at the 5.
Yeah, Kevin Jansa, first time he's targeted him tonight, and he was open. He's shaking his head. Cummings pats the football, had him open. If he'd hit him, it would have been 6, but he just overthrew him a little bit.
Jansa's got a touchdown this season. Seldom used in the pass game. It does stop the clock, but it is 4th down. 4th and 7. Cougars everything riding right here to keep the Slim Hopes alive with just 3 minutes to go. And who's going to call a timeout? The Cougars are, to make sure everything is set here. They spin the first of their 3.
Yeah, you could hear the coaching staff next to us in the booth here in the press box saying, hey, we got to call a timeout. You could see the wide receivers a little confused about what they wanted to run. Good use of a timeout. They still have 2 left. And obviously the most important down of the game coming up right here for the Cougars.
Yeah, they've had a couple, picked up a big 3rd down in their own territory, picked up a 4th down and 1 just past midfield on this drive. Now it's 4th down and 7. Cougars led this game 14-0. Events have conspired against them, including a couple of gigantic turnovers, one directly to points on the scoop and score from Hansen, and then one 3 plays later after the interception set them up. Defensive lineman with the interception. It was all she wrote for the Cougars on those couple of possessions, not getting points. And Woodbury, a long drive from the 3rd quarter to start the 4th quarter, 5.5 off the clock, and got the 2-point conversion to put them up 29-0. 3 minutes to go, 4th and 7. Cummings with Lou in the backfield. He'll drop back, looking to throw, pressured. Gets it away, down the right side, has a man in the end zone fighting for it, and it's incomplete. No laundry down, and Woodbury will make the play and make the stop with just less than 3 minutes to go.
Very surprised that Garrett Smith is not flagged for pass interference here. The ball in the air. Smith clearly collides with the receiver before the ball arrives, but like they have all night, the refs keep the flags in their pockets. And unfortunately for Centennial, they turn it over on downs.
Could have been. There's some contact there for sure. And as you said, the key point, it wasn't even as the ball was getting there. It was ball in the air on its way to him. So now Woodbury has to maintain possession. They'll give it to Altman, and he is roaming free straight up the middle. Closing speed, racing with the official, and he will cap this one with the touchdown. Walking it 74 for the score.
What an emphatic swing right there. You turn it over on downs. And the next play, Altman houses it from 74 yards out to put the capper on this one for Woodbury. A huge win on the road for the Royals as they make their case for a top seed in their section.
Woodbury with a 7th win staring them in the face. The best, they still, with the 1 point they were lining up for, they can still keep it at a 2-possession game, but now you're looking at 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points if they can convert it. And this Centennial offense is asking a lot with 2:45 to go to get that many looks at it. It's going to be disappointing as you see it again. The Cougars selling out to try and get into the backfield, rip that ball out, the middle wide open. And Altman, that's some impressive speed to beat everybody down the field. Like the freeze.
Yeah.
The umpire got that head start, and Altman even left him in his dust.
Yeah, he was decisive. He looks fresh. I mean, you wouldn't have known he'd rushed for 15 carries for 89 yards and a couple scores. Numbers for Altman tonight, very impressive. 16 carries, 133 yards, and 3 touchdowns tonight for the senior tailback. And if you're curious what that is, and obviously it's helped by that big burst right there, but that's an average of 8.3 yards per carry.
Now the offense is coming out here because, yeah, the extra point still technically keeps it a 2-score game. A 2-point conversion here makes it a 3-score game. So they're going to try to get to the conventional way. They'll run it to a jet sweeping wide receiver in Joe Mahoney. Puts this one at a 3-possession game, 17-point lead, and Woodbury from down 14-0 in maybe their toughest game of the season, at least on paper, facing a top 10 team for the first time all year. Answer the bell, and as you said, they're making a case to get one of those top seeds. There's a lot of love, for good reason, given to the Metro Gold, both north and south. There's a lot of really good teams there, Bill, but for the Metro Maroon, Woodbury right now about to go to 7-1 in impressive fashion.
I mean, pretty amazing what they did here tonight. As we said, the Cougars, after a quarter of play, were up 14-0. Woodbury since has outscored them 37-6. Cougars were within at one point, had an extra point lined up to try to tie this one. It was going to be 21-all. Instead, it was 21-20, and then Woodbury's ripped off the next 16 points to pull this one away and again set themselves up to finish with a very impressive 7-1 record and potentially a top seed in their section.
That extra point is so crucial, right? Because if you're in a 1-possession game and you have 2:46 to go and you're driving, you can do a lot of different things that are still just in the scheme of your offense if you're just down a touchdown, knowing that you can tie this game and don't necessarily need those 2 scores. Instead, the Cougars trying to push things down the field, set them behind, down, and distance. Will Quick trying to make something happen, can't do it from the 15. Look at that. Number 6 right in the middle of it, Joey Gerlach, and he has played a whale of a game right in the middle of so much for this Woodbury squad. He's been impressive today.
Yeah, certainly has. He's just been impactful in all facets of the game, whether it's blocking the extra point or forcing the tackling the extra point holder to get the touchdown, or throwing for the 2-point conversion. Whatever he's needed to do, he has certainly done so. And Centennial, meanwhile, 2 straight games allowing more than 30 points. So certainly some defensive questions to sort out for the Cougars as well before they begin postseason play.
Little counter with Lance Liu, trying to find some more space for the senior. And there is some laundry down on this one, as running a little different scheme there. Leaves the offensive line in a little bit of a weird spot. Maybe committed the penalty here. It's a fairly penalty-free game.
Well, and I want to give some credit to Lance Liu because he has toted the rock 28 times tonight, and that was actually a personal foul hit to the head on Woodbury, so it marches at another 15 yards past the 25 after that pickup of 9. But how about Liu? 28 carries, 118 yards, and a couple scores. Anytime you're toting the rock 30-odd times, that's pretty impressive. We'll see if we can see it here. And, yeah, that's a good call. As
Busan got him.
Yeah. Lowered the boom.
So 1st down and 10. Cougars out of time then with a 3-possession game, trying to get a whole lot to happen. as it will drop off short there for Dougherty. Dougherty pushing his way out of bounds on the far side.
I will say, JW, that they may have found something in this little swing pass to Dougherty. I mean, he's got nearly 100 yards of receiving, and certainly as there is another penalty flag out there, the 47-yard line, and this one's coming back.
That time you get your hold.
Now the flags are being thrown.
Yeah, you're right. Now when nobody needs it in a 17-point game with 2:11 remaining. And the officials making sure everybody knows they've been around in this game here to close it out. But yeah, you're right. Dougherty, he's a senior, got his chance. The tailback spot, he was open on a play that could have been a big one. Just a couple of overthrows, or you're a lot closer in this game for the Cougars. Dalen Cummings looking to throw on the near side. Dumps it top level, looking for who else but Dougherty. Clock stops. 2:04 to go.
I mean, Riley Dougherty came in.
That? He caught it. He was out of bounds, but he caught it. Woodbury was trying to lobby that he stayed in bounds.
Very impressive. Dougherty coming in with just 8 catches for 26 yards, and he's been the favorite target tonight.
Looking ahead, this was a tough matchup again. Their 6th top 10 matchup on their 8-game schedule in the regular season for the Cougars. I don't think, no matter what happens, they're going to face a top 10 team in the first round of the state tournament, right? They'll have to beat another one at some point, but they can regroup, and next week as Lance Liu goes off the right side, gets the penalty yardage back on 2nd and 12 out to the 45-yard line. They can regroup, and we've talked about it all season long. You said it tonight. When you play defense like the Cougars have prior to tonight and last week, and you run the football like the Cougars can, you become a very tough out this time of year, and they will have as good a shot at as anybody to get a couple of wins at least and put themselves in a good position to try and make a run come next week.
Well, it all depends on how much their strength of schedule is factored into their seeding, right? If coaches look and see who they've beaten and who they've lost to, the respectable top 10 teams they've lost to,
by 7 points and by 3 points,
right,
in the first 2.
Then they should get a fair seeding. But Centennial could also be one of those teams that has to go on the road early and is the team that no one wants to play.
Right.
Because they are
It will be that, no matter who they play, right? No matter who the seeding is. Nobody's going to be happy with having to deal with the Cougars in week 1, no matter of the playoffs, no matter how it goes.
Right, but you figure it'll be a team with a good record being like, we got to play these guys?
Cummings tried to pull it back, and he fumbled the football. And if the Woodbury Royals have it, they can just kneel on it with 1:50 to go. And they do have it, so they pick up the turnover. Turnovers were gigantic, obviously, in this game. Both prior to this that were picked up by Woodbury led directly to points. And now this one will allow them to cap the game with no muss, no fuss. It just slips out of the hand of Dalen Cummings. Spring Lake Park, meanwhile, cruising their way to a victory, their 6th of the season. So they're going to finish up 6-2, put themselves in pretty good position in their state tournament bid. To start with an opening round, we'll find out all of that coming up once games are complete tomorrow. Remember Blaine and Osseo tomorrow at 1 o'clock here on North Metro TV.
Yep, we'll have that for you as well. But yeah, JW, at the end of the day, it sounds very simple, but Woodbury just made more plays than Centennial. They just made more plays than Centennial in terms of turnovers forced. Obviously the big plays on special teams that swung things as well. Again, this was a 21-20 game at one point. But, you know, credit the Royals for continuing to fight down 14-0. And you knew they would because it was so early, but still, from the second quarter on, they just played like a completely different team and took advantage of every bounce that went their way.
Now, they certainly could have packed it in and thought, oh, no, here we go. We're on the road. We haven't been as battle-tested. Maybe everybody's right that looks at our schedule and says, well, who have you played? But they knew what was right about them, and they're a very, very good team who will also be a team that nobody wants to see. They're not going to sneak up on anybody, though, as they will have their 7-1 record on that seeding line with them.
And they're one of those teams, much like the Wayzata team that we saw against Blaine, they can hit you in the pass or on the ground. So certainly through the air or on the ground, they're certainly a team that is not one-dimensional offensively and can score in many different ways. And with guys like Joey Gerlach running around out there making plays, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
Another kneel down on 3rd down, and that will do it. The teams will meet at midfield. Woodbury comes on the road and gets the best of the Cougars in this top 10 matchup. They move to 7-1 with their 37-20 victory. The Cougars will close the regular season at 4-4. From the broadcast partner, Bill Hupp, I'm J.W. Cox. Thanks to all of our North Metro TV crew, especially those outside sticking it out in the rain on the cameras and such. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bengals taking on the Osseo Orioles right here on North Metro TV. Good night.